It's graduation season. Lots of young graduates are heading off to work or to continue their education. The story of Nancy starts like many others. I often look through old newspapers, researching, trying to gain insight to things outside my scope of world experience. I run across lots of tidbits about people, places, and things that happen in history. I ran across an article from 1959 about a 17-year-old student, Nancy Neveloff. She had just graduated from Bayport-Bluepoint High School. She was going to Israel to study Hebrew and Jewish history. I thought to myself, I wonder what happened to Nancy. Nancy was born in Bayport, New York in 1942. She was the daughter of Aaron and Bess Neveloff. Aaron was the owner and pharmacist at the Bayport Pharmacy. Aaron was born in 1909 to Abraham and Fanny Neveloff. Both Aaron's parents immigrated from Russia and Austria in the early 20th century. The couple married and had 3 children. Abraham was a tailor and made a good living in Brooklyn. Abraham could afford to send his son Aaron to Columbia University to become a pharmacist. Eventually, after Aaron graduated, he married Bess. The family moved to Bayport in 1938. Aaron and Bess had 2 daughters, Nancy and Ellen. Nancy attended Bayport-Bluepoint High School. She was a member of the Honor Society, the Leaders Club, the editor of a school newspaper, the Dramatic Club, and many other organizations at school. She graduated from high school in 1959. She then spent a year in Israel. In 1960, Nancy entered Barnard College of Columbia University, studying religion. As in high school, Nancy was involved in many activities, from writing for the college newspaper to leading in student government. The grass never seemed to grow under Nancy's feet. She was truly a dynamo. After graduating from Barnard College in 1964, Nancy entered Harvard Law School. Her pattern of academic excellence continued. She graduated from Harvard in 1967. Nancy began a lifetime legal career serving the interests of everyday people. Her accomplishments have been staggering. She's authored many articles and books on end-of-life care, home care, and long-term care, geriatrics, adolescent medicine, prison and jail health care, clinical ethics consultation, bioethics medication, and AIDS.
What does a lawyer say about these documents?
Unfortunately, many of the documents that people find don't mean what they think they mean, and they don't reflect what the patient wants. The patient means if I'm not able to recognize family and loved ones and not able to make decisions and not able to get better, but unfortunately documents come into hospitals at all times of the day and most often the night that have these absolute statements and present tremendous problems for physicians and even more so for hospital administrators.
Nancy has become synonymous with the advancement of the medical ethics movement. Nancy Dubler is one of the nation's pioneers in the modern development of medical ethics. Her work is taking on weighty issues that affect many in our communities. She's developed systematic guidelines for how to find resolutions to ethical issues our country faces. She developed a first-in-the-nation certificate program to help clinicians help patients.
Remember that until the last 20 years, bioethics has been largely an academic discipline. But I'm not an academic. I mean, I'm sort of an academic, but I'm a clinician. What interested me was how you used ideas to intervene in situations. So what I was interested in the certificate program was giving people the base knowledge they needed to participate in discussions and contribute intelligently.
Nancy has pointed out, quote, "We are all one ambulance ride away from a terrible medical outcome. The need for advocates to help the patient wade through the behemoth we call our healthcare system is crucial to your making medical decisions that benefit all patients."
Differentials of power? I mean, how much more of a differential do you want than the surgeon with the knife on the one hand and this little old lady who barely manages her life on the other? I mean, picture the slicing angels of defiance coming down. I mean, here's this little old lady, and she gets to the OR twice and says no. Gotta hand it to her. I mean, but she didn't have enough support in her corner. That's my problem.
The medical ethics clinicians are the advocates we turn to when faced with many medical care decisions. Nancy has led the way in advocating for presenting clear choices involving medical ethics. So 2022 graduates, when thinking of your future, realize that your opportunities are almost limitless. Whatever your path in life may be, look to Nancy as your guide. Remember one thing you need to do.
I think that for me, one of my greatest themes has been that in order to say something, you need to know something. That's rather out of style in American society.
Know something before you say something. Believe me, that simple advice requires an enormous amount of work and dedication.
And one of my favorite people was a fellow named Tom Stoddard. He was head of the Lambda Legal Defense Fund, and he was very smart. And we ended up going back and forth to Washington often and talking about what was going to make the next important difference in life. He argued talk radio. He said that what talk radio does is give each individual the thought that what they have to say is valuable, when, he argued, much of what they have to say is garbage. But the fact that they get to say it on the radio and increasingly on television makes them and other people think that that's a valuable opinion. Well, I think that's true. And I agree with Tom that most of it is garbage. But if democracy is the notion that everyone's voice should be heard, in the last years, the concomitant notion of expertise, that voices need to be judged in terms of the value of what they offer, has been less prominent than merely responding to the voice itself. So, I think you need to know something before you open your mouth.